Good morning, and it's the 30th of May, 25. If you want an astrology to describe the cosmic waters that we live in, if you want it to describe the invisible, huge tidal flows of energy that we contribute to, then this is the astrology for you because I'm going to be looking into the situation with the outer planets at the moment, and they are the ones that describe these bigger movements, not so much the personal stuff that happens when they hit certain planets in our chart, in our birth chart, but when we look at them just as an indicator as to what is happening in the great invisible tidal cosmos, then these are the guys that will actually tell us about the waters that we are currently living in. Okay, so what I'm going to do straight away is I'm going to share with you, and we will look at today's chart. Right, here we go. Um, And apologies to those of you who watch on mobile phones. You're just going to have to listen and squint because I need this grid over on the left-hand side to describe what I'm saying to you. It's complex and it needs this additional support, I think. Right. Okay, first thing to note, okay, Sun 9 degrees Gemini, Mercury 9 degrees Gemini. This is why I decided to do this today, because with the Sun conjunct Mercury in Gemini, and I am a Gemini Sun. It was my birthday, by the way, last Tuesday. I was 70 years old, can you believe that? But never mind. This is why I didn't put out a video. Anyway, so I thought I can do this today because with Mercury conjunct the Sun, 9 degrees Gemini, the planet of communication and the sign of communication, surely I stand a chance of getting this over. I also like the fact that Jupiter is in Gemini at the moment, and so this it gives whenever Jupiter is in the zodiac sign that the Sun was in at the moment of your birth, it always gives you a lift, and it does, and it does. Right, okay. Now I want to go to this outer planet thing. I'm going to start with Jupiter over here on the grid. And for those of you that's never seen this before, just try to get the bare bones of it. So in a line from going from the sun outwards, these planets all span outwards in their individual orbits. They are the outer planets. So first we meet Jupiter, then we meet Saturn, then we meet Uranus, then we meet Neptune, then we meet Pluto. And they are together at the moment making aspects to each other, which means they are in communication. These guys are in consultation. If you like, they're in a meeting to discuss the future of nations, of um, the cosmic and the human flavor at the moment. That environment. These guys are describing it. Now, each one is in a relationship with the other. Each has an aspect to an other outer planet. Now, I just need to tell you that this is very rare, right? These guys don't get into a huddle like this just any old year. The last time I saw this amount of contact between outer planets was in 1955 when I was born. And from 54 to 55, we had something similar. And it turned out that the cohort, the generation, the 54, 55 generation, have seen considerable change since they were born and uh, were influential or part of the influence, which took us from from really very poor technology, if you like, into what we've got today. It's unrecognizable from the day I was born. Anyway, that is happening again, and these guys are describing it to us. So what I want to do is pick them out individually. I'm going to add one thing in here, and that is Ceres. Ceres is an asteroid that is before the outer planets, much closer to the sun and to us. However, is made of the same stuff that Pluto is made of, is a dwarf planet, and so it is in Pluto's gang. And Ceres represents the feminine. So yin. So it represents a facet or a part of the whole of yin versus yang, feminine versus masculine. And Ceres is a very important player in that in terms of Mother Nature and the growth of things, the growth of life, going from seedlings and ideas through to maturity and death. Right, I'll just go back to this chart. I don't mind sharing it with you again, actually, but I don't need to because, as I don't think you can probably see all that I'm looking at. But okay, so where are these on this chart? So we've got Uranus is over here. We've got Pluto over there. We've got Neptune and Saturn and Ceres all together here. Have I covered them all? I think I have. Yes, I have. Right. So we've got Jupiter and Saturn getting closer to a square. Square briefly means one is backing another into a corner and one is going to make an action that we never thought we'd see. So there is like a contest between them. Right, we've got Saturn making a sextile to Uranus. This means that the Uranus, the planet which brings groundbreaking change and revolution, is working in favorable conditions. They are supporting each other with Saturn, which would normally be very protective of the earth element, would normally want to keep all the things that are material and manifest in good order and wouldn't want Uranus to be breaking them up. Okay, that working together actually sort of like implies that, okay, this is a huge evolutionary pressure, revolutionary pressure. Revolution works much faster than evolution. Revolution is masculine, evolution is feminine. It means that there is something really fundamental going on here, and that's what needs to be understood. So then we've got Jupiter in a square to Neptune. And so this means, again, one is backing another into the corner. The slower moving planet is normally the one that is resistant, and the faster moving planet is normally the one that is backing the bigger one. So we've got tension and contest going on between Jupiter and Neptune. To be honest, it's water and fire, but both are mutable, if you like. Both are flexible. Both can easily dodge something and come out with something else. They can get into a guise. And so, is there any big stuff going on between these two? It's probably it's out of sign as well. So it means the zodiac signs are not in square that these two are in. And so, because they're both in masculine, it's probably more about fast communication, fast ideas, and the spiritual elements to our cosmos is very much part of this movement. That it's all together, every part and facet of our lives, of our cosmos, of our world is involved. Okay, and we've got then, so we've got a conjunction really between Saturn and Neptune. We know that because that's over here, and Ceres. So we've got these really big players. So earth element, water element, working together again in terms of the planets. Ceres in there protecting the feminine, as is Neptune, because Neptune is feminine also. Saturn is feminine also, but they're all in Aries, a masculine sign, showing that the environment that these three are in, what they represent, is in an atmosphere of fast, speedy speed. Fast and speedy speed. Okay, well, we'll take that one. Okay. Over here, Pluto. Well, come on, Pluto, the one of the fundamentals of life in terms of dark matter, dark energy, invisible influence. So Pluto's role here is all benign. It's in a benign state with everything, including the Sun and Mercury today. So this is a part of evolution or about the change, the massive change of the cosmic waters, the huge invisible tidal flows we live in. This is happening right now, but gently with cooperation. And I'm saying that again, gently with cooperation. And that is what I mean when I'm talking about the cosmos and the cosmic influence at the moment and the energy that we are living in, the cosmic waters. As also is Ceres, which is conjunct Neptune, so in complete accord, and making a sextile, so a friendly relationship with Pluto as we go through these huge movements in terms of this evolutionary, well, it's a fast evolutionary phase. Okay, what it's about. We can't, I can't talk about the cosmos, the Earth, the human race, without bringing in the obvious factor, and that is Trump and Trump's presence. Why is he here? What is it about what this guy represents that is fundamentally spurring this on, or he is part of this fundamental change? Now, Trump was chosen, right? He was voted for. Now, you can love him or hate him, but what we have to accept is that clearly the human race decided that it needed this type of energy, this visible at this time, for whatever reason. So the reason could be that we want to blindly just follow this man, that he can get away with what he likes, that it's certainly in the, it seems as an outsider looking in, that this blind adoration and this complete acceptance of everything that he does without question, seemingly, although the law courts, of course, are seeming as if they can interrupt or intervene or assert themselves as lawmakers, or not lawmakers, um, the judges over what is law and what is not, against law or for law, etc. But what we have seen before this is just a population, a political environment which simply accepts without question, and everybody cowtails and gives him homage and adoration, and he gets to do everything he wants to do. This is, I think, fairly unprecedented for a huge Western power. It's very unprecedented, let's face it. Normally, presidents are challenged. But anyway, so there is a reason why this is happening. There is something about this. Are we to watch this huge bubble get bigger and bigger with his power and authority and omnipotence before it bursts? Or are we to watch it simply become the whole of America all working together in that bubble to take that stance with the rest of the world? There is something here. We have not seen the end of this. It's an influence which, love it or hate it, is clearly part of a period of massive evolutionary change and progression that is absolutely obvious by looking at the tight relationship within all of the outer planets in astrology at the moment. And it is a question of watch this space. We haven't seen it all yet. These guys are just really showing their hand for the first time. I'm just going to go back to the chart so that I can look at it because I need to read it. Right. There is also going on at the same time the Chiron Eris conjunction, which is a reflection of the movement, the zeitgeist, the influence of Donald Trump. It's a reflection of that. So this is why we're seeing these starving children in Gaza, um, because there might have been in previous administrations more of a concern to influence Israel to let the aid reach the starving. I don't know. I'm probably getting too political, but if I'm getting political, what I'm doing is I'm explaining how the astrology is explaining the distress and the dreadful starvation that we're seeing in the Palestinian community, the Palestinian nation. For whatever reason, right or wrong, that there are starving children, that is obvious. Okay, so that's really what it's that extreme unfairness, Chiron, extreme bitterness, Chiron, extreme woundedness, Chiron, and Eris in there, making this really obvious, and very, very heart-numbing. Okay, right. Um, So I'll look at this more in future. I'm aware of the fact that the video is probably going on too long now. All I can say, sort of trying to sum it up, is this is an enormous movement. Even if you think, well, I don't feel anything, this is not something that each of us personally will feel. In fact, we will be shielded from it. When these great outer planets get into this kind of thing, and as I say, that in my estimation, in my awareness, this happened in 1955, the last time, 70 years ago. Um, so it's not something that hits us in the face on an individual way. I just got a parking ticket, or I've got to sell my house, or I'm having a baby, or I've just met a boyfriend, or something like that. It's not that. It is the whole environment for the human race, for the global community, and the arrow of time and the huge tidal flows that we are part of and we live in and we influence. There is no doubt about this. We are part of this three-dimensional invisible cosmic web. We are part of it. And we can do things. All right, one voice is a small influence, but it influences more voices. So I'm keen to see how this is all going to pan out. I have such faith and trust in the cosmos, and I also hope that people will be enlightened, and there will eventually the right thing will emerge, let's say. Okay, thank you. I'm Alison Chester-Lambert. I'm an astrologer. Well, I'm a psychological astrologer, actually, and author. Got 5 books out. Happy, very happy, love to do readings. Get hold of my website, alisonchesterlambert.com. And there's no cookies or biscuits or sweeties or anything like that. It's just plain and simple, and you don't get nothing pops out at you. It's old-fashioned. And thank you very much. I'm back now from my break from my birthday, and thank you to all of those who sent me birthday wishes. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I had such a ball. I really did. I've had a week-long birthday. It was amazing, which you've got to do when you reach 70. And when I say that, I still inside go, 70, me, ridiculous. Anyway, there we go. I'm off now. I'll finally go. It was lovely to talk to you, and I will see you on Monday because I don't have a birthday. Okay, thank you. Bye.